So I've been recapping the Ben 10 franchise in as little time as possible, show by show. I recently did Alien Force and Ultimate Alien, so today, let's combine them into a compilation of sorts, going over the entire timeline and story of Ultimate Alien Force. Ben's journey from 2008 to 2012 in just over 20 minutes. Let's just jump into this. So we're picking up 5 years after the original show. Ben's hung up the Omnitrix, quit being a superhero, and is trying to live a normal life as a high schooler. And by normal life, I mean occasionally dunking on his old alien antics and pretending the Omnitrix didn't define his childhood. Grandpa Max has mysteriously disappeared, leaving Ben with nothing but a cryptic hologram message saying, "Stay safe, don't get involved with the aliens," and, "Oh, by the way, the Earth is in danger." Naturally, Ben ignores all this advice, digs out the Omnitrix, and immediately goes full alien hero again. He teams up with a newly chill Gwen and a reformed Kevin. Yep. That Kevin 11, the guy who tried to kill him in the last series. Kevin's still rocking with his old vibe, but is now nuanced as it goes.
Thinks you're still evil.
I'm not evil. I'm nuanced.
Ben's mission? Save Grandpa Max by building a team, and maybe, just maybe, avoid blowing up the planet. Episode 1, and Ben already has some cool new aliens with his new recalibrated Omnitrix. After a plumber, named Magister Labrid, dies helping the crew fight some DN aliens, Kevin is influenced to do the right thing and join the team. Oh, DN aliens are these creepy brain squid creatures, ruled under the hybrid species that attach these xenocytes to human hosts in their pursuit to take over the planet. Kevin being back in the game still comes with some sketchiness on his part. He needs to pay off some old debts. Classic Kevin. Actually, things go south fast. Kevin's big score turns into a hot mess where a bunch of alien thugs crash the scene and try to extract expensive minerals using Kevin's new matter absorption abilities. Ben and Gwen come to save him, against their better judgment, but it's actually revealed that Kevin was doing this to yet another hologram device to give Ben another clue from Grandpa Max. Classic Kevin. Gotta love this new version. Gwen's older brother, Ken, is missing, and in the pursuit to find him, the gang stumbles upon a hybrid base in a small town called Santa Mira that manufactures xenocytes. Ken has been infected and turned into a DN alien, but Ben is able to remove it with the help of the Omnitrix. Trying to destroy a mass supply of xenocytes from being shipped from his base, the team discovers Grandpa Max for the first time, fighting against the hybrid commander. In an act of self-sacrifice, Max uses an unfocused null void projector to blow up the entire hybrid base, seemingly killing himself and the hybrid in the process. Is he dead? I think we all know the answer. Love interest time. Ben's got a crush on a girl named Julie, and decides to impress her with a date at the amusement park, because why be subtle about being an alien-powered teen, right? The carnival rises at them, which forces Ben to reveal his alien abilities, turning into this humongous dinosaur, or humongosaur, and totally not freaking out Julie. She thinks it's awesome, and starts fangirling over his alien. Ben's basically found the only person on Earth who thinks alien transformations are normal, and they end up picking up a galvanic mechamorph, or upgrade alien, as a pet. This later becomes Julie's ship, as it's also named, to help during big battles. We've seen Ben's changes in terms of his new aliens. Kevin's turning around with his villain arc, time for Gwen. Gwen's magic powers are revealed to be inherited genetically, not just through reading the right mantra and creating spells. Inherited from this strange woman, Ben and Gwen's long-lost grandmother and Max's wife, Verdona, who is a super powerful energy alien called an Enidite. Verdona attempts to convince Gwen to break out of her human body and embrace her Enidite personality, with all the power that comes along with that. But Gwen has to fight her because she kinda likes being a half-powerful human and living with the gang on Earth. Oh, and she kinda begins to like Kevin, like a lot. Time travel episode. Meet Professor Paradox, the ultimate character, a man who was trapped in an eternal time loop for a long time. At first, he is pretty freaky to Ben and the crew, as we get his backstory, which reveals him to be an honorable man and one of Ben's most valuable allies in the coming franchise. He can travel through time and alter events, and in this tumultuous episode shows how cool he can really be. He also has a really nice voice.
That's a better question for the man on the moon.
Ben 10's 10th alien is finally used, after a lot of hype, and it's revealed to be none other than the one and only Alien X. Alien X completes the list of the main 10 aliens used in the show, including Swampfire, Big Chill, and Echo, and becomes by far the most powerful alien in Ben 10 in animation history. Alien X has the ability to do anything he wants, anything at all, as long as 2 of his 3 personalities agree to a decision. When Ben transforms into him, his physical alien body is lifeless and unmoving, while he floats around in Alien X's consciousness, trying to convince these 2 floating heads, Serena and Bellicus, that he needs Alien X's powers to do X, Y, and Z. And X, Y, and Z could be literally anything. He uses it here to revert time and fix a broken dam, but it later recreates the entire universe. But Serena and bellicose can be quite obstinate, as Ben realizes quickly, making Alien X both his most powerful and most useless alien in the roster. Time for Season 2, Ben and a hybrid named Reinrazig III, which by the way is the German word for purebred, who Ben comically calls Reiny, gets stranded on a desert planet together, and it's basically the universe's worst buddy cop movie. The hybrid hates humans, and Ben hates the hybrid, so naturally they have to work together to survive in this harsh alien wilderness. This episode is basically an excuse for Ben to deliver snarky one-liners, and the hybrid to sulk dramatically about being better than humans. But as they face off against giant sandworms and hostile aliens, they start to respect each other and understand the coexistence thing a little better. After the hybrid's arm gets severed off, Ben uses swamp fire to give him a new one, which makes the hybrid stay behind in the desert planet as a symbol of his failure to stay loyal and pure to his race. It's weirdly wholesome and leaves Ben with a new perspective on his enemies. It's like if Castaway had been written by an alien therapist. The continued struggle against the hybrid persists, as the team goes undercover at Lo Soledad, where Paradox also built a time machine. They discover that the hybrid have erected a cloaking device over the area, concealing a huge mysterious arc-shaped device. It's all built by Cooper Daniels, a young blonde kid who the Tennysons knew from the classic series, and who is now being held hostage by the hybrid for his tech abilities. The gang frees him and they manage to destroy the cloak field, which keeps the area in a snowy and cold climate, which the DNA aliens thrive in, and hidden from human eyes. Season finale, the team realizes they're not just fighting random alien thugs. No, there's an entire alien empire called the Hybrid, and they've got plans to quote-unquote purify the Earth. Because obviously things weren't epic enough with a full-blown invasion plot. Ben enlists friends and foes alike to team up and fight against this giant threat. Azimuth, the Omnitrix creator, comes back and grants Ben master control, which gives him access to all his old aliens as well as a new 1,910,000 in total. So we see Cannonbolt, Upchuck, and Weebig again. The team realizes it's pretty much hopeless to fight them off in the traditional way, so they go to the Hybrid Supreme, who are the top dogs of the hybrid operation. It's actually revealed that the hybrid species is dying off genetically due to the inbreeding from all the genetic supremacy crap. Ben uses the Omnitrix to assign random genetic codes from his aliens to the hybrid, basically changing their genetics with non-pure blood, as they would say, but also saving them in a way. The hybrids see this as sacrilege, and decide to commit mass suicide as the only honorable way out. Out of nowhere, Reiny comes back and assists Ben, showing the hybrid how they can survive as a species and how a human saved his life. The Hybrid Supreme assigns Reiny as the new Supreme, and Ben tells him to call off the war. Peace is achieved in such a cool way, especially for a kids show. This was mature, badass, and well built up for 2 whole seasons. Let's see what season 3 has in store. It's good, right? Vilgax, everyone's favorite alien warlord, returns. In all of his, well, he certainly returns. Vilgax has conquered 10 worlds, absorbing the powers of the top warriors from all those planets, and he's more determined than ever to steal the Omnitrix. He shows up on Earth like, give me the Watcher, prepare to die, and Ben responds with an unusual amount of pride and arrogance. Kevin and Ben try to hack the Omnitrix to get master control, which Azimuth took away from him again after War of the Worlds, albeit leaving him some old classics. This ends very badly as the entire warehouse is blown up, permanently turning Kevin into a combination of minerals rather than a human with absorption abilities, and releasing 4 of Ben's aliens as wild creatures loose into the city. Ben and the gang have only a few hours to track down these aliens, add them back into the Omnitrix, and fight Vilgax, and also not die. Yeah, it's all pretty fun to watch, and ends with a huge showdown where Vilgax nearly kills Ben. As he grabs his prize, the Omnitrix comes to life and transforms Ben into Diamond Head, classic alien we haven't seen yet in Alien Force. Diamond Head kicks Vilgax's ass, sends him packing. Vilgax stomps off, vowing revenge yet again, which we all know will last about 5 episodes. We see Vilgax again when he frees A.S.K, goes free from the original series, from his prison if he vows to tell Vilgax the secrets of the Omnitrix. A.S.K complies, but betrays Vilgax upon his release, traveling to his homeworld of Vilgaxia and converting the planet's populace into hive mind ghost minions. Vilgax flees to Earth and actually begs Ben for help, who reluctantly complies. Vilgax leads the team to his home planet, where they confront A.S.K. Ben deceives A.S.K into merging with him, attempting to control him using the Omnitrix as he turns into Ghost for the first time since Classic, but A.S.K manages to take control instead. Vilgax weakens the Ghost just long enough for Ben to regain control, returning to his human form and ultimately defeating him, freeing Vilgax's people. This marks a special point, as Ben and Vilgax develop a certain respect, even if they still despise each other greatly. Still a rock monster, Kevin teams up with Darkstar, an old foe who needs to absorb energy to keep himself from looking like a deteriorated old corpse, to retrieve an artifact called the Dominus Librium that could cure both of them from their physical ailments, let's say. After Kevin gets cured, Gwen gets suspicious and is baited into Darkstar's trap, as he begins to absorb Gwen's power, but Kevin steps in front of the Dominus Librium and sends all the energy back to where it belongs, restoring Gwen's powers and turning himself and Darkstar back into their mutated forms. Another team up that was bound to happen, but kinda led nowhere. Let me tell you something, random dude watching this video. Ben unlocks an alien called Wrath, who's basically a super aggressive tiger wrestler who never stops yelling. Wrath doesn't believe in talking through his problems, he believes in yelling at them. Naturally, this causes a lot of problems when they're supposed to be handling a low-key mission.
Let me tell you something, Jared of Pantophage! You start a war with the Lewonins, and I will do it again! Only next time, I will knit your intestines into a sweater!
Best alien ever. Oh, and Kevin kills the guy who killed his dad. Series finale, and Ben's up against Vilgax and a new guy, Albedo. Ben's evil twin who can basically do everything Ben can do, but a little smarter and less physically capable. Albedo steals Azimuth's newest invention, the Ultimatrix, an Omnitrix with an evolutionary function, basically transforming each alien into a supersized, more badass version of themselves. He and Vilgax capture Gwen and Kevin as hostages, and Ben gets his ass handed to him by Ultimate Humongosaur, who is like 10 times stronger than regular Humongosaur and can shoot missiles out of his fingers. Vilgax gets the Omnitrix from Ben and betrays Albedo, imprisoning him with his buyout army, which he transforms all of into Ben's aliens. Guess he finally got his dream after all, didn't he? After a lot of grief, Ben uses voice command to blow up the Omnitrix on Vilgax's wrist. This neutralizes him and fixes Kevin from his monster form. Ben grabs the Ultimatrix from Albedo after threatening him with the same fate, and uses his new ultimate Swampfire to crash Vilgax's ship and escape with all of the gang still alive. As if saving the world wasn't enough, Ben's got a new issue. He's famous now. As opposed to his secret identity of days past, now the whole world knows about Ben and his aliens, and it's going straight to his head. Cue the merch deals, fan mobs, and people blaming him every time something alien-related happens. Ben's out here doing PR stunts while Kevin is still trying to be a half lowlife in peace. While Ben's living his best life as an alien superhero celebrity, a new villain named Aggregor shows up, starting the season-long arc of hunting down aliens for power. But Ben's too busy being a superstar to notice how serious this is. He's about to get a harsh reality check. First, the gang come across an alien named Bivalvin, who Ben later transforms into his water hazard. He's an alien stranded on Earth after his ship crashed down, following a tough escape at the hands of the aforementioned Aggregor. This is followed with a team meeting an alien named Galapagus, another named Pandor, Rad, and Andreas. These 5 aliens, known as the Andromeda 5, possess the powers of water, air, fire, electricity, and earth, put it mildly. They've all gone their separate ways, following an escape from Aggregor's ship, as they were all hunted down by Aggregor so he could absorb their 5 powers, which would transform him into Ultimate Aggregor, possessing tremendous strength and abilities. Aggregor is an Osmosian, like Kevin, except fully, meaning he can absorb energy from living beings to use for his own. After the gang help all 5 return to their home planets, well, sort of, they are all eventually found again by Aggregor and captured, although not before Ben can also scan them for his Ultimatrix DNA database. Aggregor absorbs the 5 aliens, killing them in the process, and begins to possess their powers within his own body, emerging as a monstrous amalgamation of these forms. He uses this new elemental power to kick Ben's ass on Earth and begins searching for what's known as the Map of Infinity, an infinity sign split into 4 parts and scattered across hidden locations across the universe by our old friend Professor Paradox. This begins a new spree of intergalactic pit stops as the gang does everything in their power to stop him from attaining at least one of these pieces, which would grant him access to the next level in the grand scheme. They travel to a cool planet where half the planet is molten hot and half is ice cold, which is also where Necrophrygians live, which I thought was really smart. It's a personal favorite. Or the hilarious Perplexahedron episode, where the gang navigate a weird rotating white maze Rubik's Cube to find the final piece, and oh, it's just so glorious. Unfortunately, Ben's weakness and kindness end up being their downfall, as Aggregor manages to acquire all 4 pieces of the Map of Infinity, which means we're about to go to the final boss territory. Get ready. Azimuth, the Omnitrix creator, along with Professor Paradox, the Time Walker, reveal the power behind the Map of Infinity. It can grant Aggregor access to a hidden dimension known as the Forge of Creation, the place where celestial sapiens, alien exospecies, are born. I've talked extensively about this episode in a previous video, linked here, but the gist of this episode is, Aggregor's whole plan from the start was to capture 5 aliens with elemental powers, hold them captive on his ship, capture each one again following their escape to Earth, absorb them, fight Ben for a bit, go from planet to planet to planet to planet, capturing the 4 pieces of the map, just so he could get into the Forge of Creation, so he can absorb a baby Alien X, which could be absorbed without the debate aspect of Alien X, which makes it so tricky, and make him an omnipotent being, capable of doing basically anything he wants at the snap of a finger. Kind of an elaborate plan, I gotta say. Did I miss anything there? Ben, Gwen, and Kevin don't give up, following him to the Forge of Creation, and reuniting with a 10-year-old classic series Ben in the process to fight Aggregor. Nothing seems to work in their efforts, until Kevin absorbs Teen Ben's Ultimatrix powers, and kicks Aggregor's ass in about 4.2 seconds, flat. Aggregor's powers are absorbed by Kevin, turning him into the most powerful mad Osmosian monster since ever. While Aggregor is defeated and the baby Alien X is spared, the team is divorced for the time being, and things seem as hostile as ever. Here's where things hit maximum overdrive levels of drama. Now that Kevin's gone full villain, he can't control himself and turns evil again. He literally kills people, going after old enemies and even some old pals who did him wrong in the past. Ben decides the only course of action is to kill Kevin and restore order, while Gwen pleads to talk to Kevin and be more sensible. Even despite her pleading, Kevin still takes his chance to squash Gwen, even after getting the whole family to talk with him and console him. A giant badass fight breaks out between Ultimate Kevin 11 and Ben, as Ultimate Echo holds the most epic moment in all of Benton history, and does the Sonic Doom, literally reducing Kevin to his last heartbeat. Thanks to Gwen, Ben spares Kevin, and with the help of some old friends and enemies, Kevin's powers restore to normal, and the Andromeda aliens' powers are also sent back where they belong. Finally, Season 1 is over, with a healthy team, a defeated Aggregor, and a few more aliens in the roster. What more could you ask for? We start Season 2 with a new character, Eunice, because Ben needs a new girlfriend for some reason. I've talked about Eunice before, she's great. Basically a new type of Omnitrix that absorbed Gwen's DNA when it landed on Earth, and thus looks like a blonde girl. But she can absorb powers of living creatures like animals and do weird things. It's a weird episode. It ends with her leaving with Azimuth as his makeshift robot apprentice. This is where Ultimate Alien takes a shift towards episodic premises, rather than the overarching plots we got in Season 1. Meet Jimmy Jones, a total fanboy for Ben and his alien antics, who occasionally helps the team with alien finds. We also meet Gwen's unknown cousin Sunny and her boyfriend Antonio, who are loud and obnoxious, and we see Elena again, Ben's love interest from the Alien Swarm movie, who can control these nanochips that can transform her into different people. She's infected with these nanochips, which are now controlling her, turning her into a queen of a giant bug swarm. Ben wants to save her, Gwen's like, not our problem, and Kevin's just done with everything. Yada yada, filler episodes galore. The gang go to a plumber base and go through cliche drill sergeant routines to get their plumber badges in check. And Ben 10,000's back! Finally, something cool! In this version, he can't really transform, but he can morph his body and commit the alien's abilities using his human body. Kinda weird and inconsistent, but Wildmutt's back, and he can talk now. And did I mention ultimate forms? Ben's got one now for Swampfire, Humongosaur, Echo, Spider Monkey, Way Big, Wildmutt, Cannonbolt, and Big Chill. Awesome! Before we get into Season 3 though, we gotta foreshadow what's gonna happen. Some Forever Knights, who we know from the original series and Alien Force, who are just weak fodder villains with an old medieval style to them, have broken a magical seal and released a powerful demonic spirit out into the world. A parasite creature, a Lacubra, finds itself to connect to Gwen, giving her a deep, scary voice and connecting her to the all-powerful demonic spirit. While Ben and Kevin try to free her, Winston, a Forever Knight squire, reveals that the first knight, the original founder of the Forever Knights, captured the Lacubra in the seal centuries ago. Alright, we're about to get into some real medieval crap, and I'm all here for it. While Season 2 is all one-offs, Season 3 combines the episodic nature with its aforementioned arc of the seal and the Forever Knights towards the end of the series. The season starts with the most epic line ever spoken by Ben in the franchise.
Maybe you've forgotten something. I'm Ben Tennyson, wielder of the most powerful weapon in the universe. I stopped the hybrid invasion. I defeated Vilgax in hand-to-hand combat.
As the gang annihilate the Forever Knights after the first night, now revealed to be Sir George, orders a purge of all of the hidden alien species on Earth, which they deem to be inferior. But no one can go up against the alien transformer himself. Characters of old come and go, from Albedo starting a Benton Live theater show to mess with Ben, to Simeon from Alien Force taking the gang to a spider monkey planet to save it from an alien infection, to the Techodon robots returning at Volcanus' request to knock out Ben once and for all. A lot of episodic comeback stories turn into one-offs. Honestly, it's pretty damn entertaining. Unlike the filler episodes of Alien Force Season 3 that often felt bland and uninspired, Ultimate Alien's third season clearly had a lot more thought behind it, and offered interesting redemption arcs and comebacks for certain old characters. Ultimate Sacrifice! Ben's ultimate forms start going haywire, developing minds of their own. The aliens are tired of being Ben's quote-unquote weapons, and they're ready to break free. Humongosaur and the rest of Ben's ultimate aliens turn on him, forcing Ben to confront the fact that he's been taking them for granted and using them against their will, something he didn't know of, considering Albedo built the Ultimatrix he uses. Ben has to bargain with his own aliens to regain their trust, ultimately learning that even his powers have limits. He just has to commit an act of self-sacrifice and basically kill himself if it frees these captive beings, who try to hunt him through the Ultimatrix mainframe. Ben wakes up as Azimuth saves all of them, setting the Ultimates free, while still retaining their DNA samples in Ben's roster. So, what was the point of the whole suicide thing? Well, now we know that Ben values the lives of a few aliens in his watch, more than all the millions or billions who could die without him being alive. Makes sense. Anyway, a main plotline here follows the Flamekeeper Circle. The Shadow Organization believes in the supremacy of Dagen, an ancient godlike being, who happens to look a lot like a squid, a Vilgax type squid. Just a coincidence. They're not your run-of-the-mill fan club. They think Dagen is the true savior of the universe. Of course, they see Ben and his crew as obstacles to their fiery devotion. Their influence spreads like wildfire, gaining recruits called the Esoterica. You know it's bad when the bad guys roll in wearing cult robes. The Esoterica are Dagen's foot soldiers, teleporting shadowy figures with the charisma of Ghost Freak and the persistence of frickin' Echo. They serve as as the muscle for the Flamekeeper Circle, carrying out their mission to revive Dagen and pave the way for its return. So who's this Dagen everyone's so worked up about? Well, before I tell you, we interrupt this recap to bring you the Nightmare episode that everyone loves. Albedo hooks up Ben with this alien blob that attaches to his face in the middle of the night. Ben has a super creepy dream where he faces off against his biggest enemies in a barren, empty world, with even Gwen and Kevin turning on him. Things turn when he realizes it's actually Albedo, and they fight in this dream world as it slowly becomes Albedo's nightmare, which is always losing to Ben without fail. Eventually, we see Albedo slip in Ben's real room and drop the creature on his own face, locking him in a creepy nightmare where Ben's aliens all kick his ass one by one. Anyway, back to Dagen. He's a cosmic entity from another dimension, with plans to dominate Earth and beyond. A godlike figure with reality-warping powers, he's not just content to rule, he wants to erase free will. And yet, he looks like a floating sushi platter. Bruh. But seriously though, Ben's Omnitrix may be powerful, but going toe-to-toe with someone on Dagen's level? That's a whole nother challenge. The Esoterica break the Dagen seal, and set the Dagen loose. Every human on Earth gets turned into an Esoterica, other than the Forever Knights, who along with the founder George, eventually side with Ben and the gang to defeat Dagen. Things complicate even more when Vilgax teams up with Dagen to take over Earth, something you probably wouldn't expect from Vilgax. At the showdown of all showdowns, Ben realizes he's got to go all out, using every ultimate transformation in his arsenal to hold his own, including ultimate Way Big, which fails. George is even killed and turned into ash by Dagen, who sees them all as insignificant specks. As the battle intensifies, Ben's forced to push the Ultimatrix to his absolute limit, proving just how far he's come as a hero. Yeah, I'm just kidding, he only uses like 2 crappy aliens that no one wanted to see. Vilgax has a plan to wield Dagen's powers for himself, which he eventually does, becoming freaking Super Vilgax, now stronger than ever. Going back to where it all started, in the Plumber Base in Mount Rushmore, Ben wields Asmith's sword called A.S.K, and fights Vilgax mano-a-mano, simply stabbing Vilgax with his sword in an anticlimactic fight, as is the case with a lot of Ultimate Alien fights unfortunately. Ben wields unbelievable power. He holds the Ultimatrix, the sword of Ascalon, the Dagen's power, and Vilgax's power. Becoming power mad for a sec, and considering wiping out all evil, Ben reconsiders once Kevin, Gwen, and Julie console him to make the right choice. In the end, he turns all the Esoterica back to human, restores the order, and returns the sword to Asmith. In return, Asmith grants Ben the new and improved Omnitrix, culminating this whole show into a brilliant ending that pays tribute to the amazing creator Dwayne McDuffie following his passing and transitioning the franchise into Part 4, Omniverse. And that was the recap for Ultimate Alien Force. Let me know your thoughts on this era of the series in the comments down below, and tell me which moments in the episode stand out to you. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe with the bell, and with all that said, I'll see you guys in the next one.